Welcome back, true believers, to another Spider-Man PS4 layup video. And today, since the news is kind of over at this point, since Insomnia Games is basically just working their butts off to make the game perfect, they're developing the game, they are making the game as good as it can be, and they are working on the game non-stop. And pretty much since they just confirmed recently that they will not be at Paris Games Week, it seems clear to me now that it is almost basically confirmed at this point that Spider-Man PS4 will appear in some context at PSX this year on December 3rd to the 4th. And while they are working on it, I thought it was time to go back to the good old Spider-Man theory videos, the speculations, the analysis, the just what we want from this game, what I would like to see from this game, and just guessing and analyzing how things in this game could work out. So, in this video, I'm discussing how smart I think Peter Parker / Spider-Man could be in Spider-Man PS4. So, we have had a range of intelligence from Spider-Man in the past, kind of from Tobey, where he was not really the smartest of the Spider-Man. He was more of the serious, get-down-to-business, really experienced Spider-Man. As shown in both the movies and the games, he was the one to always be the true fighter of all the Spideys, and he was really not that keen on using his intelligence. It was never really shown that much in the movies or the games, but he was a really good Spider-Man / Peter Parker nonetheless. As for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, he invented the web shooters, and he was very witty as well. As for being smart, he didn't really, again, have that much intelligence. He had to use Gwen for help a lot of the times in both the movies and the games. Gwen aided him almost the entire time during the Amazing Spider-Man 1 game and movie, and even during the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie, Gwen helped him a lot during the final fight with Electro. And again, in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game, he had to get help from Whitney Chang and do some detective work, but again, that wasn't really being smart, that was just being deductive. Again, he had a lot of assistance from recent individuals like Craven even, or Whitney Chang in that game as well, in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game. So independently smart, not that much. Now Tom Holland, we haven't really gotten a lot on his Peter since he's the youngest of all the Spider-Men. He's 16 in the movies, I should say. He's 20 in real life, but in the movies, his Peter Parker is 16 years old, and he made the web shooters. He's really retro, he digs for old computers, he makes old things, he made his web shooters, he made the web fluid, so he's pretty darn smart for a young kid. As well as kind of fighting, he's intelligent with the way he's using his webs during combat and stuff, using all the different acrobatic agility he can use at his disposal. And when I say smart, I mean both in the ways of actually smart with creating things, or being able to deduct things, or be intelligent, or actually be smart in the way that he fights as Spider-Man. And this can be both ways for both Peter and Spider-Man, of course. As of saying in the past games, we haven't really had the genius-level intellect Spider-Man yet. In Web of Shadows, again, he wasn't really the smartest one. He had to get Tinkerer for help to solve the problem with the symbiotes. He had to use the help of Wolverine and also his own black suit to try and fight Venom and all the other mini-symbiotes and stuff, so he didn't really have a really big intelligence in the game. At least in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 game, he made the Spider Tracers, which is really cool that we could use that in the game. Ultimate Spider-Man, again, he had Mary Jane for help with the costume. He didn't even know how to sew the costume, so he had to ask Mary Jane to sew it for him. And he got kidnapped by Silver Sable really easily. He's pretty smart, but not genius-level intellect smart. Since this Spider-Man in Spider-Man PS4 is in his prime, and he is very experienced as an individual, as an adult, as Peter Parker, and as Spider-Man, it is going to be really interesting to see how Insomnia Games handle this. Because if you watch their E3 interviews that they give about Spider-Man PS4 during E3, of course, they do a lot of discussions about the game and how Peter Parker is essential to that game. I've already made tons of videos on it. I say that Peter Parker is the main character of Spider-Man PS4 and not Spider-Man. They are the same character, but again, Peter Parker is the one that Insomnia Games is focusing on because of how they're saying the best stories of Spider-Man are when Peter Parker's world and Spider-Man's world collide. And that is the forefront of the game. That is the main theme of this game. So with that said, they even said that Peter Parker is a really smart guy. Again, this is during their E3 interviews where they discuss this. They say that he's a smart guy, that he can both be intelligent in the fight as Spider-Man or just in his own skin as Peter Parker. And what we could see of that is going to be really interesting because, again, there is Peter Parker gameplay confirmed in this Spider-Man game. Whether or not that is free roam, I do not know, or if it's going to be along the lines of kind of like the intelligence from Amazing Spider-Man 2, where Peter Parker was kind of doing detective work / Daily Bugle work for Whitney Chang or the J. Jonah Jameson pictures and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how they use that in the game of Spider-Man PS4. As of how smart he is, it seems like he made his own web shooters. It seems like he's making that own kind of like silver metallic stuff on his hands, like those gloves or the reinforced steel gauntlets. Along with his suit, he made the suit, I'm assuming. I don't know if he had any help from like Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane making it. But it seems like Peter Parker is a very equipped individual when it comes to being smart, and since it seems like, again, they're going the comic book route where he made the web shooters, and he's very intelligent with how he can be making different gadgets, like the spider tracers, I hope those are in the game, or like the spider light, if that's going to be in the game, the different gadgets Spider-Man could use in the game. Different things could be used for Spider-Man in multiple ways, both for intelligence and fighting, for being Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and seeing how Insomnia Games handled that kind of dual comparison in Ratchet and Clank, with Ratchet being the kind of witty one, and of course Clank being the super intelligent one. Since Spider-Man is both of those, they can just easily morph that into the same character. And it's going to be really awesome to see what they do with how smart Peter is and how smart Spider-Man can be in the fight, and what situations Insomnia Games will create for that character in Spider-Man PS4. So thank you so much for watching, true believers. Stay spectacular, Spidey fans, and peace out.